with this band. I've only seen a little bit from them. Uh, Someone else brought them to my attention. So, um, I've heard it said that you're supposed to pronounce the name of the band as uh, INRVRY. It seems to be missing some like vowels for that, but I know I know people do that. They have 3 music videos and some live stuff. In fact, more live stuff than anything else. I'm just trying to figure out if I need. Okay, this one isn't on their channel, so it's probably good that I pulled it up over here. Let's hear Grace.
It's just like me, creating stories in my head, in my worst ways. I start repeating all the things you've never said. No one talks about how easy it is to drown. Worked on healing, started swimming instead of awkward going down. It's all circling inside my head, and I hold it all. It's not right that I've got no more fight, but keep holding on, holding on. Give me a little grace. Give me a little grace.
Okay, I should definitely start my commentary. So, the first thing and my only complaints is, especially on this one, like I complain about this regularly, but I feel the vocals are too far down in the mix. It is a little bit hard to hear her voice, and I want more of it. So, yes, that is my one complaint. I wish they did their audio mixing a little bit different. Um, it was nice to hear that there's like a not a full duet, but like a uh, pairing of voices is probably a good way to put that. That happens in this. Uh, I liked that. I sadly couldn't hear it as well as I would like. I would like that to be louder. Um, but it is what it is, and I did think it was a nice element. Um, I'm also gonna say I I love that the main singer, the female singer, is a plus size girly just like me. I mean, you can't tell from the model because obviously model is going to be like the idealized version of myself, obviously. Um, but yeah, we're both plus size girlies, and I appreciate the fact that the singer is too. It is so rare to see one of us. Also, she is also a septum piercing girl, just like me. I appreciate that too. I seem to have way too much in common with her singer. All right, back to the song. Back to the song.
Feelings got a way of dropping in on you. Unfriendly face, taking cracks of recollections and postures you've buried to bother the peace you've acquired. Shame has got a way of throwing fists at you. It takes away, it keeps you buried underneath all the hurt where you've worked hard to shovel just to grow you a muscle. Feelings got a way of dropping in on you. Shame has got a way of bringing you down too. And no one talks about how easy it is to drown. Words on healing started swimming instead of upward going. It's all circling inside my head. I held it. It's not right that I got no more fight, but I keep holding on. Give me a little grace.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. We're already at the end of the song. Well, I know we're going to hear it again because I'm going to look at the live version. And I'm very curious what it's like live. Because I know the audio mix is definitely going to be different when it's live. But that was a very solid rock song. I think the rest of the band did very good. I don't have anything in particular to like pick out of that. I know there's definitely all sorts of things going on that I could theoretically talk about, but I think this is a decent sense of like what the band is like. Solidly rock, maybe leaning a little bit into like the hard rock genre. I would say that they're in like the same sort of place as like The Warning as far as like the genre part that they fall into. I wasn't as impressed as a lot of these comments, which is why I was wondering what the comments were like. Man, only like just under 1,000 views. That is kind of a shame. And their channel is actually smaller than mine, which is also a shame. They should definitely have more subscribers. I might need to fix that on my actual YouTube channel and not this account, which is just my content creator account. But let's keep going. This is the collab song, so I think it's collab anyways. It's not on their channel, let's put it that way. Oh, is this group therapy? Oh, we're starting hard here. Before she really gets to start singing, I gotta say, music as therapy, especially group therapy, very much a real thing and also an awesome thing. I wish I would see that more often.
Memories hiding down beneath air Generational curses stirring up and served as wise elixirs. Some we suppress, others we confess, have served as quite the compass for how we live. Some we create, others are innate, products off the shelves of our cultural eye. Too young to know the rules of kind. How this gospel forced to reshape our mind.
All right. All right. I want to get a little more into this. This song is definitely all about mental health. It literally, we have started with talking about like generational, like mental health issues, passing on your issues to your kids and to their kids in a perpetual line unless someone does something to break that cycle. They talk about defense mechanisms, very sound. I took a bunch of psychology classes, in case you're wondering, so I can actually talk about a lot of that. I'm also in therapy because I need it too. So yeah, I know, they're actually talking about real things and talking about them correctly and not in a inappropriate type of way. So I really appreciate that. But back to the song.
I know it wasn't your intention to pass down all of your obsessions. My self-worth depleted. I chose to run the other way. The picture of beauty was painted for the shallow mind. Too young to know it wasn't how this gospel forced to reshape our minds.
Okay, really quick, and it was going to take too long to say this to not stop here for a sec, but I really like the guy doing a part here too. Kind of like the last one, they do not a duet, but like a trade-off, and they're not like specifically male and female roles in the song, but uh, because one's a guy and one's a girl. Obviously, we get that, rather, you know, e- even though it doesn't matter, like there's no gender to the topic that they're talking about. But I like that they have, both voices in there. Also, oddly, because he's slightly louder than her, it's actually easier to hear him than it is to hear her. I still have the problem with their audio here. I wish they would move the voices up in the mix a little bit. Also, hi, you Ken. How you doing? All right, back to the song. Guitar solo even. Had to figure out where the mouse was. And you can, this is INRVRY, though. It's mostly spelled without any of the vowels. I don't know who Porch Dream is. I'm assuming that's the guy. But, yeah, that was a solid song, especially one that's all about mental health, which I definitely appreciate as a topic. All right, let's see the last of their music videos, and then we'll look at some live. Oh, I should mention, that last one was a bit harder than the first one. The first one I thought was more rock, like traditional rock, and this one is more the last one that is, because we haven't actually started this one yet. But the last one was a lot more like hard rock, not quite heavy metal, but bordering on it. All right, let's get to this one. A film, huh?
You've got this light inside your eyes, gleaming past a dark and shadowed mind, filled with self-regret, self-love neglected. Nothing satisfies. Has it always been this way? Or were you captured by, held captive by the lies you've heard them say? I'm calling you back home. I'm calling you back.
Okay, I want to do some commentary here. We're a little more laid back in this one. I like that I can hear her voice better in this than I could in the others, because there's not as much like loudness in the instrumentation to like cover up her voice. I don't think they mix this one any different than the other, but the result is different. But I like that I can hear her better, because I do like her voice. I feel like this is sort of another mental health story, though I don't think we're far enough into this story to really understand exactly what's going on. And yes, I appreciate the plushies too. Anyways, let's get back to it. Let's get back to it.
You've got these echoes of the past. Whispers come to claim all you have left. With your cup run dry, the thirst to find yourself out of this trench hasn't always
Now we're down to just the piano. I mean, that is a way to do a fadeaway, definitely. And this is a long fadeaway. Hello? Webpage? Well, the browser is confused again. Maybe it's gonna do something eventually here. You know, you'd think since I'm using Chrome for this, that YouTube would be one of the few things to work really well on it. But it always seems to be YouTube that gives me problems with it. It's still thinking. Still thinking. Hello? Well, I will definitely give my thoughts in the meantime while it's thinking. This is definitely like, I wouldn't call this a pop song, but it's definitely not as hard a rock song as the other songs that we've heard from them. Like I said, more laid back, more relaxed, no less hard hitting, though I'm still a little bit confused about like the underlying story. I wish I got a little bit more. But then this is me. I love a good story. So I am very curious. But let's pull up some live now that it actually wants to work again. Yeah, by the way, if you like them, definitely go subscribe to their channel. Uh, I feel bad that they only have 160 subscribers. I know I only have like 4 times that, but still. I always hate to see an interesting band not have very many subscribers yet. Yes, yes. It says 160. Yeah. That's why I said that, Yukon. I am amazed they have not gotten more views. I mean, like, this one almost has 4K views, and yet still, the subs is not very high in their channel. I feel bad. Anyways, let's keep going. I want to hear some live. Ooh, getting some acoustic in here. Thank you, Yukon.
Waking up, I find it hard to not hit snooze on my alarm. I'm dreaming of what it would be like. Dreaming of what it would be writing on the lines we drew in this place we thought we knew. This dream place has me swinging on vines of hope and belief in there's some place far beyond the clouds, far beyond the clouds.
Love that switch up.
Carry all my weight and I will carry yours, and we can find some common ground. See, we all just realize it's not enough to love and lose, to scream and fall under pressure. We just keep pressing on. This dream place has me swinging on vines of hope and belief in there's some place far beyond the clouds, far beyond the
I think her audio mix is in fact better in the live.
This dream place has me screaming. There's only hope and belief in there's some place far beyond the clouds.
I gotta wonder, was that voice someone out in the audience? I'm dreaming. Okay, I gotta say, I also love the quality of this recording, visually, except for the fact that there were these, like, spots, like someone had like, maybe a drink kicked around earlier and it got on the lens, because there were these spots right here. It was really distracting me. I don't know how much you guys could see that, but, I don't even know if it shows here right now. Probably not. I think the red bar for the timeline is actually literally covering it up at the moment. Mostly. It's like right there. Man, no one even has commented on their live. I feel kind of bad. All right, next one. It's the wrong account for that. Otherwise, I would.
It's just like me.
I definitely like that version. We listened to Grace as their music video a little bit earlier. Um, I like the live version too, but I don't think I have anything extra to say about it. Like, my only commentary is that I liked the lead singer's dress. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That is the only thing I was thinking about most of it, other than the fact that I like the song. But yeah, yeah. Um, I'm kind of curious if they have anything else on here. Okay, they have some shorts. Oh, and apparently all their songs are in here. Which this seems to be like their album release. Everything else is just a single. I don't like the way that YouTube does like singles. I wish you could just like collect them. It feels like you should be able to. So yeah, they have a decent amount of music up here. We're not going to look at anything that isn't either live or a music video. So, I think this is pretty much the end of what we're going to look at. But they do have some others. They have a cover on here. They have some behind the scenes stuff. It seems pretty interesting. And they've only been around for like a year-ish. So I think this is decent progress for a year. Anyways,